Wow, wow, wow. What a crowd. What a crowd. I was telling Susie backstage, I said, I feel a little like Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life, having all of you come here. It's pretty amazing to me. There are some folks who I do want to introduce you here this morning before we get going here. First and foremost, for those of you who know her, you know that she really is my better half. And she's my best friend, and that is the fabulous Susie, my wife. And I've got 3 kids, 2 of whom are here today. My 2 boys, Colby, my oldest, Tommy, my youngest. I have a daughter, Lindsay, who reminded me earlier this week that she said, "Dad, I got driver's ed Saturday." And there ain't getting no in between a teenager getting their license. So she's at driver's ed with us this morning. And then there's 2 very, very special people in my life. Frankly, we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them. And those are my parents, Denise and Bruce. Friends, my name is Kevin Smith, and I'm a conservative Republican, and I am running for the United States Senate. And I entered the fray knowing full well that this campaign is not going to be easy. I mean, who am I, right? Well, I'm the son of 2 retirees who sacrificed a lot for their kids, my brother and me. I'm the father of 3 kids who attend our great public schools right here in Londonderry. And I'm the husband of a dedicated special education teacher, my beautiful wife, Susie. And until recently, I was the town manager of the same great community that I grew up in. And my experience in this great community, with all of its creative, hardworking, civic-minded people, confirms something that I have suspected my entire life. That the best ideas come from people like you and me, in communities just like this one, all across this great state. I mean, just look at what we've done here in Londonderry in only 8 years. We've added more than $250 million to our tax base in economic development. The value of assessed property in town has increased by $2.2 billion. We've returned over $11 million to the local property taxpayers by balancing our budget and only spending what we needed. And Londonderry is one of the fastest growing communities in the state of New Hampshire. Yeah. And the fact is, as town manager of Londonderry and chairman of the Pease Development Authority, I've overseen the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport, which, by the way, we all know is in Londonderry, okay? Just saying it. The Portsmouth International Airport, as well as the ports and harbors in Portsmouth, which are now the largest economic engines in the state of New Hampshire. And our successful approach is very different than the failures that we have seen in Washington, where Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders, with the help of their ally from New Hampshire, Maggie Has I Will, impose unfair mandates and regulations on large and small employers. They drive up the cost of living for working families. They divide Americans over masks and vaccines and mandates. They choke off our domestic energy supply. And right here in Londonderry, right here, they plot a federal takeover of our local elections. A year ago this time, we were told by President Biden in his inaugural speech that he would bring unity to the country. and heal our political divisions. And over a year ago, we were told by then candidate Biden, you all remember this, that he would shut down the virus and not shut down the economy. Yet today, more Americans suffer from the virus than when President Biden took office. And meanwhile, our economy is experiencing the worst inflation of my lifetime. Filling our gas tanks, it eats up our paychecks. Shelves at the grocery store, they're often empty. And the cost of heating oil in the Granite State has families wondering just how they'll keep warm this winter. Folks, Washington is failing us. And we need new leaders imbued with common sense and decency and compassion to replace the distant, disinterested, and dishonest career politicians in Washington, D.C. Folks, I'm a proud conservative Republican. And I'm convinced the vast majority of Granite Staters, whether they're Republicans or Democrats or undeclared, as many of you in this room may be, are common sense, kitchen table conservatives like you and me. I believe the most important decisions in America today are being made at the kitchen table. That's where Susie and I make our big decisions that affect our family. To where we eat dinner together, most nights. To where we pay our bills. To where we plan our family trips. And frankly, it's where we decided that I would run for the U.S. Senate. You know, throughout my time in public life, whether as a state representative, an aide to U.S. Senator and a governor, as town manager of this great community, or as chairman of the Peace Development Authority, I've always tried to be a servant leader. I believe high public office is a high public trust. And office holders should serve at the pleasure of the people. Now, my Democratic opponent, she has a very different approach. And I'm sure Maggie Has I Will means well, but make no mistake, she is an unwavering follower of Joe Biden and of Chuck Schumer, with whom she votes with 98% of the time, and of Bernie Sanders, with whom she votes with 96% of the time. And friends, Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders, they do not share our values here in New Hampshire, and neither does Maggie Has I Will. Most recently, they instructed her to change her position and blow up the Senate rules so they could federalize our local elections. And Maggie Has I Will did exactly as she was told. And don't take my word for it. You can talk to our town clerk, who I think is here today. Never received one call from her. And I've seen it firsthand in my role as town manager over the last 6 years. Maggie Has I Will has been an absent senator. More comfortable holed up in Washington, we rarely see her or even hear from her around the Granite State. I mean, you could say in some ways that she has socially distanced herself from New Hampshire. And I've come to view her not so much as Maggie Has I Will, but as Maggie Hasn't. You know, we deserve a senator who will bring local New Hampshire values to Washington. Maggie Hasn't, I will. We deserve a senator who fights inflationary policies that eat up hardworking Granite Staters' paychecks. Maggie Hasn't, I will. We deserve a senator who takes a hard line on the appointment of federal judges. Maggie Hasn't, I will. We deserve a senator who defends the great men and women of law enforcement. In the face of smears from the media and the left to quote-unquote defund the police, Maggie hasn't, I will. And folks, let me just say one thing on that point. One of the greatest honors of mine as town manager over these last 8.5 years has been to work alongside with the brave men and women of law enforcement. We owe them a debt of gratitude for the courage that they have every day. And we deserve a senator who fights to keep our schools open, who promotes academics in our classrooms, not divisive culture wars. Maggie hasn't, I will. We deserve a senator who equips our armed services with the tools they need to defend our country from external threats like China and Russia. Maggie hasn't, I will. We deserve a senator who fights to secure our nation's southern border, where drugs like fentanyl flow in and terrorists walk over with ease. Maggie hasn't, I will. And we deserve a senator who won't divide Americans over masks and mandates, and instead investigates the origins of a virus that has disrupted every aspect of our lives. Maggie hasn't, I will. Let me just tell you this personal story as well. You know, and arguably what has been our biggest crisis that the country has faced over the last 2 years with the pandemic. There were many times during that period that Governor Sununu would call up. He'd say, what can I do for you? How can I help Londonderry? Senator Shaheen, she reached out often over Zoom, asking what resources do you need, and I really greatly appreciated that. Do you know how many times Maggie Hassan called and said, what can we do for you in Londonderry? 0. 0 times. And it's because Maggie hasn't cared about our community. I do, and I will in Washington. Friends, as John said in his introduction, this is going to be a long campaign. But know this, I am in this race, and I intend to win. And I invite you to stand up for New Hampshire with me, with your support, with your votes, with your prayers. And right after this, I want you to go to kevinsmithforsenate.com, and I want you to sign up, become a part of the team. You can make a big donation while you're there. But get others, too, to sign up, because this team is growing by the day. And in return, because Maggie hasn't, I pledge to you this, that I will always be an independent voice for New Hampshire. I will always listen to you. I will remain a servant of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with love for this great state that my parents brought my brother and me to 35 years ago. Respect for its traditions, admiration for its great, great people, and with profound humility that I announce to you this morning that I am officially running for the United States Senate. Thank you all very much. God bless you. And God bless the great state of New Hampshire. Thank you all very much.